All right, here we go. So this is an updated watch list, midweek watch list going into the end of the week of February 9th. And we're here this evening. Kind of just did some scans earlier, and let's start off with looking at the overall markets. The S&P Cash, SPX, pretty nice looking chart. It's just I guess the main thing we're going to look at is this 60-minute time frame. 60-minute time frame was golden. Once again, it was just perfect. See, we got oversold. Did I have this? Did I actually have this on the top? I was messing with my charts before. Was the stochastics on the top the last time? Now I have to change this all over again. I'm going to move it back up here. I think it was up here, right? I think it was. Was it up there like this? I think it was a little bit further up. This doesn't look right. All right, well, there we go. You can see the stochastics a little bit better there compared to the chart. Nice pullback here on the hourly, the 60-minute time frame. Came back to that trend line. Great level there. Great reversal candle on the 60. Everything was like that 1-2 punch, and we pushed up off of that, and that's where we ended up here. Starting to get a little extended, but it looks good for tomorrow. It actually does. I'm a little concerned that there's a lot of Greek news out there, and the market tends to react, and just like anything else, the Ebola, when the Ebola becomes in focus, remember how the market was flushing on any type of patient. A patient would check himself into the hospital and the market would drop 10 points. Sometimes it would drop 20 points. Well, that's what's happening with the Greek news. I mean, we could come out with any kind of Greece news and the market could just get flushed down. So even though the charts are looking pretty good, we have to remember it's more of a volatile time frame with this recent news and everything that's happening around it. So just be on your toes. Even though I do expect this to move up higher, I do expect the market to be manipulated by that. And that's just the name of the game. It seems like the market gets set up. There'll be a false rumor or something coming out, just like the rumor today that came out this morning. Apparently, there was a news out there of a debt extension. And that was at, let me see if I can go all the way back here. That was right here, right now, 7 o'clock. We had a big spike up here, and then we gave it all back. Eventually, the rumors came out saying that rumor was false, and we started reset, and again, ended up moving a little bit higher, but, that's the kind of movement we have to watch out for. That's the craziness. Not going to happen to the downside, too. And, well, that's where we are right now. So, with that said, the overall charts, the S&P looking pretty strong. The 60-minute is looking very strong. The daily is embedded. Typically, that's a great sign of follow-through to the upside. The pattern is broken out. The next stop, new highs. There's a rising trend line here, too. So, we can even get back through that 2100 level. And that's as much as we could look at on that. It's not telling us anything else. Normally, if we get that dual stochastic set up, it'd be banging the table. But we're very close to being overbought on multiple time frames. And, expecting that pop out of this channel, it's starting to push back up. We just got to ride the wave right now and just concern ourselves about the news out there. News out on FSLR right before the close. We were actually looking at this one. We had this trade, then we had this nice little pullback, and then Steve Jobs, Tim Cook, at a conference mentioned his the partnership with First Solar and the solar farm, $830 million, I think, invested into it, somewhere in that. Somewhere in that, and the market here popped off of that. At that point, we jumped into it. We're holding it. Tomorrow, we open up above 50. I'll get out. And so that's a good trade. Hopefully we get that follow through, and it doesn't just kind of get any news to kind of shake us out there. But either way, it's a winning trade. I think it's going to be good. It's interesting also is how we pushed up here. Almost X marks the spot. So any move above 50, I'll take this off. Now we're going to talk about this. I had this on the list to talk about as a good position, an entry back here. Well, apparently that entry is no longer a good entry back here. This is where we are now, and that's where we're going to take it off. So FSLR, even though it is a good setup, it's kind of, we're in it now. HP. I brought this one up because we've been following the oil stocks. You know, there's chatter out there, oil going down further. You know, there's a lot of talk of what happens when oil. Have you been seeing some of the comments? Will oil go down to $20 a barrel? I mean, there's a lot of fear mongering out there, but there's no doubt about it. I don't, I expect oil to actually go down a little bit more. We pushed up here on technically on a lot of these, a lot of these stocks. This was great with the divergence. The lower lows. This breakdown here, and it crossed back up, and it was off to the races. But we pushed right up against a little resistance line. That's looks like the 50-period moving average. A little move down today. I mean, we're seeing that across the board on the oil-based stocks. They're all pulling back a little, but they're hanging in there. PSX, I'm not ready for them yet. PSX, I have a little short on that, but they've been hanging in there. But just wanted to show you I'm keeping an eye on that. NAV, though, here's one that new position today. Liking this. This is what we'll call a channel within a channel. It's kind of coiled up. Daily is just getting oversold. The 60-minute time frame is oversold. I love this type of setup. I don't mind that we broke down to recent support here. That's actually a good thing for me. I like shaking out the weak hands. You can see a bigger picture here. This 1, 2, 3 pivot. And this underlying trend line, this brings us down here, and this channel line brings us down there, and that brings us down to about 26, give or take, about 50 cents, but 26.50 to, it could be anywhere in this round. Basically, it's about a buck and change, a little bit lower. That would be a dynamite level. I took a shot on it today. Get in, started an entry today. Because the hourly is oversold. I love getting into the dual stochastic. I love selling into the lows of the session. Tomorrow we might actually see this move back up. We have that setup. We're not on the trend line, and so many times we've seen that stochastic setup here outweigh the trend line. So many people say, "Well, we're oversold in the stochastics. Are we going to come down?" No, we got oversold and we pushed back up. Overbought, oversold. So the stochastics are actually stronger, I think, than the overall thing. But when they all line up together, and you can see there's a bigger trend line back here on the daily, then I think it's game on this one. But I already started it, and hopefully that plays out here. So it's a really nice setup. It just feel like X marks the spot. Might be in our future. It might be in our future. That's a great setup, though, coming down the line. ESRX, Express Scripts. We'll zoom out here on the daily. Again, a situation we kind of didn't really even lose this channel line. We kind of chopped around it, kind of candled out. Nice reversal candle, pushing back up, and then chopping around and maintaining this downward pressure. But we had a better candle today. And you can see we never really turned back over here on the daily, even made a little, I didn't make a low, it's not a divergence or anything, but we didn't turn back. And what happens is, in this process of pushing back up off of this reversal, we're slowly pushing back up. This starts to look more and more of a smaller flag, but you can really see it on the 60-minute time frame. That's where we got oversold here. Excuse me. And we got oversold, and then we started pushing back up. I like it. I have to watch the 60 tomorrow. Let's see how that reacts. Let's see if we actually hold this trend line. And let's see if we could, eventually push out of here. So this is definitely something I'm paying attention to. It looks good. The stochastics here rotating back up. I'm going to call this a minor flag. Just a kind of a very minor flag on the hourly. And you could probably see that if we put a couple small... We have a little pivot area down here, and we'll put that here. So you see this little kind of 1, 2, 3 pattern, bang, 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 pushing back up. Maybe that 60-minute here turns us over a little, pulls back. Maybe it's another retest. This is, it's in my focus list now. So we'll see what happens off it. It seems to be pretty good setting up. I don't think there's much downside left on this. Well, maybe we get a little rotation back on the 60. Maybe not. It just looks like it's getting ready. Does feel good. It feels good. It's a feel-good stock right there. This one's been showing good strength off of these channels. You got a good channel back here. Good levels. I have a feeling we're going to be moving up on this one tomorrow. So we'll keep that on top of the list. P-car. Still haven't gotten into it. I feel like I'm missing an opportunity here. Talked about this for the last couple of days. Great downward channel, coil stochastic, what we call a coil stochastic channel breakout. When we have a series of lower highs, we don't say the lower lows because lots of times you come down here and pin lower and then pin lower again. You're not really making, in this case, sometimes you do. You can see that coiled wedge pattern on the stochastics, but that series of lower highs and three or more, really I consider that wedge, that coil. And as we coil up and you have that underlying channel, you want to really take that lower channel line. Along with that, I mean, it's past it now, but this is what we're looking for. Looking for a couple different signals off the playbook play. That lower trend line would have been golden with a piercing pattern. When we break down to the lows, we pierce back into the pattern. And then from that point on, we started moving back up here higher. So the daily is actually very bullish. And the 60 is kind of choppy. It's kind of consolidating a little choppy. But overall, maybe, if this does pop, maybe NAV pops. Remember, these two are kind of connected a little. Trucks and automotive parts. This is more of a truck, I think. NAV also. There's a couple other ones there. JBHT is General Trucks. I'm not looking at that one. But the P-car is interesting. So I haven't gotten back into that one. LH here, classic flag, great flag. Laboratory Corp of America Holdings. See if we get that chart up here. And you know what? This is your standard flag. I call it a wide flag. It's not a real tight flag here. This is what we call a tight flag. This is a wide flag is one that you can really determine the pivots in it. And you have three or more pivots, or you have that 1, 2, 3 pivot area. Really makes that two channel line, and then you're inside this channel. So this is a wider flag. This is looking very good for a breakout. It has everything that looks pretty good for a breakout. Even closed that gap on that thing. It's a pretty decent day today. This is a little sloppy. On the stochastics. We cross back over. We cross back up. It's game on. It really is. It is a 60-minute time frame. You can see it's kind of extended here, but the 60-minute has been much better on helping us out on these buy zones. This is this kind of setup here from back there to overbought here again. Now we're getting overbought again. So we want to make sure there's no issue here. We pull back down to the lower trend line. If we embed, then we're going higher. There is a point where these stocks, when they do break out, those time frames get a little push up and embedded. But probably one of the better flags in the market. So I really like this flag. It's a very nice looking flag. It is what it is. So we have to watch that tomorrow. I have never traded this one, so I don't have that much history with it. I have to look into it. I like the price. I like the pivots. I don't like the daily. I think the 60 is kind of weird, extended, but the overall pattern's looking good. So if we get a little more pullback, or maybe something to kind of help us out, maybe even something. If you guys have any stocks in the room you want to bring to my attention, I'll bring them up in the video too. But right now, let's take a look at Fastenal. Fastenal working out good right now. This one came down. It's another kind of a coil. It hasn't made that third little bump yet. But we had this good pivot area, kind of a pivot area back here in this one. So once we gapped down, we came down towards that trend line, violated a little. It's good enough for me. We got into this. Because you know what? That's a great company. It makes a lot of fasteners. I guess a lot of things that use in construction materials. I've traded this one many times. I kind of like trading this one. Yeah, even though it's actually kind of in a slow downward spiral here. Let's take a look at that weekly. Get a better picture on the weekly. Get rid of this. That was oversold on the weekly. I'd be all over it, but it's not. So we had a little flush here, and this is an interesting one because I pointed out this was a lane divergence on the weekly. Now, you know, you can see it here. We flushed out through that trend line. It looks like there must have been some news here that really flushed it out. Bad news in the follow through. So I think this underlying trend line really is a viable trend line, and it's a situation where we kind of broke through it, recovered real fast. Now we're right back down to it. So we kind of have this weekly chart, and then we push that back on the daily here. This line right here represents that same trend line. We could probably adjust it a little, give or take. We're very close to it. The fact is, it's pulled back enough that we're in, and 42.16. You know, we have a little profit on it, 70 shares. Not too much. Not much to the worry, but look where we are on the stochastics. Looking good. I mean, we could just get a nice bounce here and a rip higher. The candle's good from today. So we had a nice candle. We're back inside this channel. Pretty much we're pinging off of this lower channel line. Nothing wrong with this. I'm happy with it. Happy with our entry. And here we go. A little closer view on this. You can see that downward channel here, that 1, 2, 3, regaining that and trying to hold on to it. 60 actually looks good for tomorrow, so see if we get some follow through on that. And we'll go to the next one. AES. Utilities. Utilities have been pulled back really good, you know, and I did a scan before. I'm going to show you the scan. It's very interesting. And this is an interesting one because look at this 1, 2, 3 pattern. Look at the candlestick. There's probably a great chance of getting follow through on this. I wish I'd looked at this a little bit more today. It has everything going for it. It came down to the tick, to the penny basically. Tagged that trend line, reversed, engulfed the previous candle, and big volume. Actually giving a little divergence. You can see that started turning back up. There's everything here about this is looking good. I mean, AES, utilities, they all have a very basic, same type of chart. This one's a little bit different. If we take a look at like Duke Energy and some other, this is what the normal utility stocks are looking like. They've been grinding up really aggressive, and this is a really good first pullback. So, you know, first really good pullback. Everything is oversold. I'll go into more detail. I mean, Con Edison, ED, all same. You know, these are all nice ramps, nice pullback. AES is a little bit different because we're not seeing that. We're seeing a downward trend. It's not trading off the highs. So it's a little concerning, but it's the first time we've actually had a good HPS type of setup. We have everything here going for it. We have a divergence. We have the outline, the outside day. We have the 1, 2, 3 pattern. It looks prime time. Looking prime time here on AES. I want to circle that as one of the best bets. And AES, Eli Lilly. Let's talk about the other sectors that have been oversold. Eli Lilly. This is probably one of the stronger drug companies that are actually holding the 50-period moving average. It flagged out here, pushed. This is a secondary flag. This is a nice rotation back down here. You know, rotated back down, getting back oversold. Pretty decent flag. I mean, this is pretty nice. And let's take a look at that 60-minute time frame. Yeah. Could even have a little wedge pattern playing out here. That would be even, that'd be kind of nice. So let's watch this. I'd actually pay attention to that recent low. Bring it up here. We're going to keep this one on the watch list for tomorrow too. This is two good setups here. I'm definitely considering Eli Lilly, LLY. And then the Gilead is the next one you're going to see, GILD. Nope, and another drug company here I'm looking at too, Alexion. So I guess ALXN here. This candle, this little bar right here, it's really nothing. I think it's just a late print that showed up on the chart. If we take a look at that 5-minute chart, we didn't gap down here. It makes it look pretty ugly. So where we are at 176. So a nice little pullback. I just don't like that candle. Anybody know how to get rid of that candle if there's a fat finger trade or a late print? Anybody have that solution? Can we delete those candles just to make it a more I don't know if we could do that. If you know how to do that, let me know. But the fact is, if we go back to the daily is telling the whole story here. This was looking like a wedge pattern when we first looked at it. It was like this. It was kind of a nice little wedge. We kind of broke through. This chopped around. It was kind of coiled up too. And it broke up, and then it pulled back. Now, when we see that wedge pattern, what we do is we extend that out to a parallel trend line, and that's basically that channel trade now. And you can see a pretty decent candle today. Held at 200. Getting back down here. This looks like it took out the lows here, maybe by a couple pennies. It looks like it has a shot of actually turning back up here too. So, liking this. Haven't started a position yet. Also want to keep an eye on that lower trend line. There's a setup out there that I call the 200 EMA breakdown channel line bounce. So when you have an underlying channel line and the 200 period moving out cuts through that channel, there's a lot of times we see a kind of a trapdoor breakdown. It brings us right down to that level, which brings us down to, another 13 points. What is that? 13 points lower. I mean, that's a big move down. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to hold that 200 period moving average like we've always held, and this flag is eventually going to turn up. So Alexion, Eli Lilly, and ALXN, and Gilead. All look pretty good. Gilead here rotating back down. 5 to 7 day pullback, another DTR playbook setup where we have 5 to 7 days to give us time to pull back. Seems that we're holding strength. Not bad at all. So there's 3 that I'm looking at. Definitely going to want to, again, LLY. Definitely interesting, getting oversold. The Alexion, ALXN. The bigger channel, the big candles that have been chopping around. Let's take a look at that 60 one more time. 60 is kind of messed up because of that candle, but just pretend that candle's not there. So maybe we get a pullback. I don't know. It's inside the pattern. And let's finish off here at ALXN, Eli Lilly, Gilead, American. I think I have AMT down here. Is that AMT? American Tower? Yeah, I think I had this down. I'm watching. It needed to set up better. We need, for future, we need this one to set up a little bit better. We need Carnival Cruise Line to set up better is inside of a nice little pullback. It's oversold. And again, I started my scan off today just taking my, I took the S&P 500 and I did a oversold daily stochastic signal on it, or a scan on it. And what happened was very interesting. All right, mostly the setups here, other than Cycle, which was material construction, waste management. I think, yeah, they do medical waste. This is pretty good. This is a nice setup here. But as we go through these real fast, Gilead, drugs, oversold, you're going to see either drugs, medical drugs, utilities,
NQ trade overbought,
and real estate, REITs, all setting up. Now, these are the three sectors. I mean, I could go through 100 stocks, and I would say 90 of them would be in either three of those categories. Here's a real Avalon Bay, REIT. So you see these are all pulled back. These are all given some great candles, too. And I'm going to give credit. There's this, who was bringing it up in the room? Whoever you are bringing it up in the room, you know, I'm just awful with the screen names, and my memory's so short-term from looking at so many charts. But he always kept on talking about the REITs and stuff, and now that I did my scan, I have to agree that the REITs are all lined up. The first pullback here, and the candlesticks are really important, too. They had some good engulfing patterns with some volume. So these are all, and we're going to go through these. All right, here we go. Health services, medical equipment. Wait, why is that one on that? Hold on a second. That shouldn't even be up there. That's gone. Oh, I'm on the wrong scan here. Let me see. What the heck is that one in there for? All right, here we go. Utility, Edison International, DTI Utility. Again, these are just American Tower Corporation. That's good. I had that one on the list here. Utility, Sempra. These are all oversold on the, and then Merck, decent pullback. Staples, weird. Fastenal has happened to be on that list here. Again, another REIT, utility. I mean, there's a lot of these at Simon Group, utility, which is pretty good. Materials and construction related to, housing and real estate. Duke Energy, Ventas, real estate REIT. You know, these are all the ones that came up on the scans. And I'm just going through them. You could see real estate, utility, real estate, utility, drug, Alexion. That's looking good, though. Utility, Con Edison, utility, pullback, retracement, American Power, utility. It's just amazing. There's not much else out there that are considered oversold. That's okay. I always do those scans anyway. So AES here also showed up on that. We showed that one before. This one looks really interesting because even though it's a utility, it's not that trend higher, that pullback. This is actually the one that's pulled back enough where we had this big reversal candle on the channel line, ready to rock and roll. In the room here, we got Sunny here. Check out O. REIT, same thing. Same exact setup. I'm sure this would be on that further down on the list if I continued to scan it. So I think, these are all moved together. It's not an individual stock that's showing weakness. It's a sector that's showing that weakness, which, I like that, because you start to see things move together. So that's that scan I was doing. And that's about it. So, again, I guess going into the best bets for tomorrow, it's definitely, I always like those drugs. Eli Lilly, Alexion, ALXN. I think I like that one a little bit better. And then the Gilead, GIL, did we do that one? Gilead's also kind of cool here. Just getting oversold in that order. And then the Fastenal we're in. But considering the PCAR, considering the Express Scripts, and the LH here, Laboratory Corporation of America, definitely liking this one. Remember, we get that breakout of here. If we get that break, we take a 2-day breakout. Still have some good upside here. Now, there's some stocks that tomorrow we got to prepare for. Mondelez, MDLZ. I took that off today. And it's a nice pullback. I want to get back into it, but I have a feeling, just a strange feeling, this little setup down here is waiting for us. So I wouldn't mind to see a pullback to this, and I would absolutely get into it if we gap down anywhere around this trend line. I think it would be a good reversal. I think, the price would make a new low. This would probably not turn over. Would probably head right back up. So I'm kind of hoping for a breakdown here. It's one of the reasons I got out of it. Took a little loss on it, but probably better to be safe than sorry. If it moves a little bit higher, yeah, maybe I'll bang the table. hard just to hurt myself. But you got to do it when you got to do it. This looks great down here, so let's be prepared for this. This is tomorrow morning. And of course the NAV, we'll see how close we are on calling the bottom on this one. This is, it looks like a typical X marks the spot. We're getting close to it. I did start my entry a little early, but you know, like, we're pretty good on this stuff. We're having a great year so far. It's only February. Stocks, we've been great patience and great setups and great quality names, so we're going to continue that. Hope you enjoyed this watch list. It's about 30 minutes long. I think that's good. It gives us a lot to look for tomorrow. And that's it. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to turn off this video, send it out to the members, and then come back here. And I want to show you some of the scans I was just working on before. So let me just stop this right now.